Thinking of you, thinking of you. Thinking of you, thinking of you.
So what I've been doing lately to a lot of my videos is adding borders. So I'll just go to the transform tool and kind of make the image smaller. Then I'll go to the generators tab and I'll just drag in a custom solid. And then usually I'll pick like a pastel color for the background. You can choose a neon color, but I feel like it kind of takes away from the attention of the image in front, so I'll usually just do a pastel color. Then sometimes I'll add like these gold stars that I found on the internet. I'll leave a link in the description if you want the same image, but you can make it move around. I feel like it just adds a cool touch, I guess. And then if you don't like the look of that, you could also do just like images. So I have this newspaper one. I feel like it looks kind of cool for the background. And then I'll add just like these barrettes. I feel like it adds more of a 3D effect to the border. I feel like it looks really cool. For color grading, I'll just go up to the top where it says View Video Scopes, and then I'll bring up this kind of menu over here. Then I'll press Show Color Inspector by clicking on the magic wand, and it'll bring up this menu. So I'll just look over here. You want the tops of the exposure to hit right at 100, and you want the shadows, which is the bottom, to hit right at 0. So for this image, or for this video specifically, it was pretty good, so I'm just gonna line it up. And then midtones, sometimes your image will look a bit washed out, so you can kind of play with that. This image actually looks pretty good for exposure, so that's kind of the before and after. It looks a bit better now. And now for color, you can look up at the RGB overlay, and you kind of want all the colors to be equal, so I'm just going to color wheels, and I'm just gonna fix kind of the shadows and the midtones and the highlights a bit. So this image looks a bit like too cool tone, so I'm gonna kind of raise the reds a little bit. Then I'll just add highlights and get rid of the purples and blues a little bit. So sometimes if I have B-roll that's kind of boring, I will open the effects tab on the right, and I will kind of like use effects to make the B-roll less boring, I guess. So there's definitely a lot of them in Final Cut Pro. You just kind of have to look at kind of the ones that go with your editing style. So if you notice my videos a lot, I do a lot of random zoom-ins. So to do that, I will just go to the transform tool. I will chop out a little piece that I want to zoom in. Then I will click on this kind of keyer tool up at the top, and then you're gonna start playing your clip. And then you're going to drag your cursor to the end of the clip, and then you're going to make your image a lot bigger, and then when you rewatch the clip, it'll kind of have the effect that it's zooming in on your face. So to do the face distortion thing that everyone pretty much does on YouTube, all you need to do, chop out a clip of your video, and then I will just look up the fisheye effect, and I will drag that onto the timeline, and then it'll kind of show up like this. You can drag this little circle around to make like different looks, but I feel like if you just say something funny or you have a weird face, it's really funny to do this.
Thinking of you, thinking of you.